We visited the Galapagos Islands in Ecuador and dived in North Seymour and Mosquera. This is the second time for us in these diving spots, but especially here in the Galapagos, every dive is a completely different experience thanks to the currents. Today's return proved exactly why. White-tip reef sharks gathering like cars in a parking lot, underwater carpets of sea stars we've never seen before, and hammerhead sharks, encounters at our safety stop, and much more. We are Carlubi and Sebastian, and today we are exploring North Seymour and Mosquera, two of the Galapagos diving sites. Academy Bay and their amazing crew coordinated and guided our adventure from beginning to end. You will see only one day here, but we spent 20 days in the Galapagos. By the end of this video, you will see why these waters are considered some of the best diving and why many divers dream with visiting this remote paradise. Let's plunge in! Our first dive is at North Seymour, a 40-minute boat ride from Puerto Ayora in Santa Cruz, one of the islands in the Galapagos. We are going down to 19 meters for what turned out to be an incredible 51 minutes of drift dive. And we are underwater. Immediately, we are greeted by the perfect welcome committee. But look at this, white-tip reef sharks. I'm not kidding when I say it looked like a shark parking lot down here. Check out these Galapagos garden eels swaying in the current like an underwater wheat field. You will see them in different parts in this dive. This colorful one is a parrotfish. And of course, a pufferfish keeping us entertained. When you dive in the Galapagos, it's not just about the sharks and the turtles. Sometimes the stars are these schools of fish. Pacific creole fish, one of the most abundant species in the islands. They can form schools of hundreds, moving like one living cloud over the reef. Slender, reddish-gray bodies that shimmer in the blue. Remember the shark parking lot I mentioned before? This is what I'm talking about. These white-tip sharks are the stars here, and they are completely relaxed around divers. It is the most common shark species in the Galapagos, found around rocky reef, under coral heads, and in cave. During the day, are lazy and docile, and that's why it looks like a parking lot. But at night, they are efficient hunters. They don't need to constantly swim to breathe, which is why if you see a white-tip shark laying motionless with its mouth wide open, don't fret, it's still breathing, maybe even sleeping. Unlike many sharks, it does not need to constantly swim in order to breathe. Yellow striped Salemas, adding the perfect pop of color, which took another level. This bright yellow fish might not look like it, but yes, it is a puffer, and this golden morph of Guinea fowl puffer is a true treasure, making up less than 1% of the population. Most of them are dark with white spots, but this one is the golden unicorn of the reef. These incredible puffers can grow up to 50 centimeters long, and when threatened, they inflate to nearly 3 times their size. Their skin feels like sandpaper and turns spiky, nature's ultimate defense system. But this was not the only special puffer we saw in today's dive. Dive number 2 have another interesting one. Just wait for it. After 51 minutes of bubbles, it was time for our safety stop at 5 meters. After an hour surface interval, we are heading to our second dive, Mosquera. This sandy bottom platform is famous for eagle rays and sharks. Here, we went down to 18 meters. And immediately, I can tell this dive have a different vibe. The terrain is sandier, rockier, creating the perfect habitat for an incredible diversity of marine life. And look at this beauty. The Galapagos green turtle is the only turtle species to breed and nest here in the Galapagos, weighing up to 200 kilograms. Galapagos green turtles reach sexual maturity between 20 and 50 years old. Their shell has a more dome shape than other Pacific green turtles, and they are smaller with a darker color upper shell, usually dark olive brown or black. There's been a debate whether the Galapagos form is a distinct species or just a regional subspecies of the Pacific green turtle. Currently, most scientists classify it as a subspecies of Chelonia midas. If you know more, let us know in the comments so we all can learn about it. Regardless of the species, it is always special to see a turtle in your dive. This is a barber fish, also known as a black-nosed butterfly fish. These wonderfully named fish are actually cleaner fish species that wait at cleaner stations to feed on parasites from larger fish. You can easily identify them by their distinctive black snout and that gorgeous yellow body with elegant black stripes. What makes them special is their role as the reef cleaning crew. They are like the on-the-water spa attendants, providing essential grooming services to larger fish species. Nature-perfect symbiosis in action. There's something special approaching a bit in the distance. Can you see it? Eagle rays. These graceful animals are like on-the-water birds, gliding effortlessly through the water column. We also spotted a sharp-nosed pufferfish, one of the tiniest reef characters in the Galapagos, only a few centimeters long, with a pointed nose and body covered with white spots. It might look cute, but like all puffers, its tissues contain a powerful toxin that keeps predators away. Tiny, shy, and full of personality, a true miniature wonder of the reef that is found in sheltered areas of rocky reef at the depth of 3 to 21 meters. And then we reach the sea star carpet. I'm not exaggerating when I say there were hundreds, maybe thousands of sea stars covering the sandy bottom as far as we could see. What's fascinating about seeing them in such massive numbers like this could be due to rich feeding conditions or optimal habitat. We looked for a more solid explanation and found different options, like a reproductive gathering, but it might be something else. Maybe an expert in the topic can intervene here. So let us know in the comments what is this gathering about. But the Galapagos saved the best for the last. A beautiful show. A school of hammerhead sharks appears below us. Dive 2 completed. 18 meters and 53 minutes of pure on-the-water magic among bubbles. To dive to different on-the-water worlds for a second time. This is the magic of Galapagos diving that many people don't realize. You can dive the same site multiple times and have completely different experiences. The confluence of the Panama, Cromwell, Humboldt currents, and more bring constant change. Fresh nutrients from deep ocean attract different species daily, which is why these waters are a UNESCO World Heritage Site. If you are planning a Galapagos trip and thinking about diving, both of these sites are suitable for beginners and experienced divers alike, but always respect the currents and dive within your limits. Drop a comment below and tell us about your favorite encounter when diving, or if you have any questions about the diving in the Galapagos, corrections of the marine life we saw, or something else. We are happy to answer back. Subscribe for more underwater adventures and stay tuned for upcoming videos. There is much more to show. Until then, keep diving, keep exploring, and of course, happy adventures!